Girl,
No.
I have clients trying to back out because they didn't put a faceplate on the fucking deadbolt. They closed today.
We're in the midst of this deal with this rather expensive brand new build in Lee Summit. So you know the roof, this thing?
Mm-hmm. That thing.
Do you know how important this thing is?
It's kind of important, yeah.
Pretty important. Do you know what holds up this thing?
Oh, those lovely trusses.
Them bitches were not attached, okay, Pumpkin? Red alert! Red alert! This deal is falling down around me, right? Like just boom, boom, boom. Then I get
I'm a very visual person and that works for me.
It's almost like he was trying to see who has the bigger dick.
Yeah, and I just don't
I don't play those games.
that game.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you with kindness and let you think your dick is bigger.
Yeah.
Okay? Go forth and conquer.
Yeah, let's have a measuring contest because I'll win. I don't really have a dick. It's a metaphor, everybody.
Currently unequipped.
Currently unequipped. True story.
Coming straight to you from KC, we are spilling some real tea with Jana and Moxie.
Let's go.
All right. All right. Well, let's kick off today with a story time from Ms. Moxie here. You're going to talk about some crazy shit.
Yes, I am.
Go for it.
All right, you ready?
Conquer.
You ready?
I'm ready for it.
Okay.
Here for it.
All right. So there was this one time. At
Band camp.
Yeah. No. We're not going that direction today.
No?
No.
Not today.
Not today.
Any other day?
Not today. All right. So there was this one time that I had a business partner, and said business partner was a doofus, total doofus. And they decided to make it a priority to try to go after FSBOs for my new agents that were on the team. And the new agents obviously didn't have the experience to potentially successfully do listing presentation for a sell by owner. And so said partner went on a listing appointment, and I would say they probably weren't the most experienced agent in the world either. And they took the listing for 3%. Total. 1% to the listing side, 2% to the buyer side. Isn't he a gem? And then...
Well, at least there's that.
Yeah. So with that, he promised the buyer's agent or the listing agent that procured said for sale by owner that she would get 50% of the income. And then essentially he would get the rest. And I was like, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay. He and I were supposed to split it, whatever. It didn't work out like that because we ended up terminating our partnership. So guess who did all the work for 4 months? Me. Guess how much money I made on that deal? You ready? Are you ready?
Negative $200. No.
$50 on a $465,000 house. I made $50. And I worked for 4 months tirelessly, okay?
What were you doing?
Their house was difficult. It was difficult. It was a difficult sale.
Hold on. So you're on the buy side?
No. I'm on the listing side.
Okay. You took the listing for 3%.
I didn't. I was forced into it. I would have never taken a listing for 3%. Never in my life.
Wait a minute. How did we get here?
Yeah, no. My unexperienced ex-business partner wanted the win so badly, he was willing to take it for 3%, but then he didn't know how to handle anything. Neither did the new agent that procured the appointment, so I got to take over the entire contract. And it was horrible. So, 4 months of work, we get to final walkthrough. And again, this is a $465,000 house. Now I would value it probably closer to $575 just because of the market trending. So quite a nice house. And they had a lot of stuff on the walls. It looked really good. She did an amazing job decorating this house, right? It was, she should be a decorator. She has just pristine taste in decorating. So there's a lot of stuff on the walls. You have to take said stuff down. You don't want to leave holes in the walls. And so it's simple. You just patch the holes and paint them, right? All right. The buyer's agent goes over for the final walkthrough and she texts me and she's like, Moxie, this is not okay. And I was like, what you talking about, pumpkin? Everything should be perfect because this whole contract has been perfect.
You're like, this has been amazing.
Yeah.
It should be fine. Everything's fine.
Most stressful thing ever. So the seller had patched the walls and touched them up, and the color did not match. I mean, you might as well have had white walls and put brown on it. It was that bad of a match job. And so I texted the seller and I was like, we already didn't have the best relationship just because it was so difficult.
Contentious, yeah.
We had one offer cancel. Just when you have a canceled offer, it's just hard when things go bad to not be the bad guy. So I texted her and I said, dear seller, was there an issue with finding a paint match? And she goes, what are you talking about? It matches perfectly. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go over to the house and check it out. And I'm not kidding, Jana. I took video and pictures and I like to this day, I laugh about it. In what world? It literally looked like a polka dotted, like a Dalmatian on the walls, right? So I'm over here like, in what stinking world does this match? So basically what we came to the conclusion of was, buyer, Mr., Mrs. Buyer, you just have to accept this house. If you want it, take it as is. And then there was a problem with one of the toilet lids that I didn't realize it was completely broken off, because they had a little doily over it. And so the seller had mentioned it to me, but I just thought it was like a little issue. I didn't think it was like half the lid was gone. So the buyer was like, I want this lid replaced. The seller was like, go die in a fire. And I was like, I'll just pay for it myself out of the $100 I was supposed to make on this deal. So I gave the buyer a $50 gift card to Home Depot, and I ended up walking away from that deal making a whopping $50. Woohoo! So the story time is, don't paint your house dumb colors unless you're going to keep the dang paint. That's the story. Is that the message here?
Funny enough, I have a similar situation going on right now. Different situation, but similar issue where I'm having to explain to someone, you can ask for things, but you don't get to dictate how or what is used. You can say, I would like for you to paint the wall. We're using Sherwin-Williams, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You've got to be as specific as possible, because otherwise paint the wall is paint the wall.
True. Man.
Whatever you got on hand.
Man,
you know what I mean?
But you hope that's not what people interpret common decency. And then, Jana, okay.
Girl,
no.
I have clients trying to back out because they didn't put a faceplate on the fucking deadbolt.
Oh.
When they replaced the deadbolt, they didn't put the strike plate.
Right.
They want to, they closed today.
Oh my gosh.
They want to back out because they don't like it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. All right. Anyway.
But here's the other thing. Okay. Common decency and common knowledge expresses that when you paint something and it's clearly and abundantly the wrong color, when someone calls you out on it, you don't say, oh, it looked fine to me. I look great. It looked great. I didn't see any problems. No, you don't do that. You go, yeah, I know. It looks like crap, right? They told me to paint the wall. They didn't tell me to match the paint color. All right, fair enough.
Is she colorblind?
Don't play stupid. That was my biggest thing. Like, how can you not just take responsibility right now? People are weird. Blech. Speaking of that, this helps move right on to our next topic.
Go for it. Oh my God. I'm still like, I literally, as we're talking, I get this. I have to say it because I got to get it off my chest, or I'm just going to roll in it for, I don't know how long. We go for a final walkthrough yesterday. This is mom and daughter, right? So that's the story from mom and daughter.
Oh no.
We pulled up closing. We had a 21-day close, and we had to pull up closing because someone forgot they had an appointment on closing day out of state.
I can't. I'm dead.
I don't want to do the mobile notary thing. Like
I'm
can't. Okay.
Okay.
Supposed to close Monday. Decided this past Monday we're going to pull it up to Friday. Yay! Although we asked for probably like $12,000 worth of repairs.
Right.
Okay. In our resolution, that the seller waited until this week to do because, he wanted to make sure the appraiser wasn't going to have any other requirements. And I'm like, your agent should have told you we are a conventional loan. The lender's not going to have any other fucking requirements. The appraisal's not going to have any fucking requirements.
Right.
Why did you wait? Whatever. We are where we are.
Right.
We do the walkthrough yesterday, and stepdad, who is a retired Army general, and I love him to pieces. I really do. But he is losing his shit over the fact that the strike plate is missing from the door frame on the door we asked them to replace a deadbolt on.
I can't.
Pissed.
I can't.
Not annoyed. Not like, ugh, okay, whatever. Not, which would have been my response. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's not a big deal.
Right.
Losing his mind. Also, seller was there.
That's only weird if it's weird.
Still doing repairs.
Oh, Lord.
Still doing repairs. Anyway, they got there early, apparently had already had a very, very heated conversation with Mr. Seller.
Oh, geez.
Before I got there.
Oh, gosh. I need to rub my earlobes really fast and woosah.
I'm like, I pull up and they're all standing outside and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And anyway, so we go inside and I'm like, okay, I've got my resolution. We asked for a bunch of repairs in the offer. We've got it all written out and I'm walking through. I'm like, I'm not paying attention to this. I'm just going to make sure that, these things are done. And I'm walking through the house. Go down to the basement. Part of our original offer 3 weeks ago was the seller needed to tuck point and seal the entire foundation, the stone foundation of the basement. And he agreed to do it 3 weeks ago. But he waited until this week to start doing it.
Cool.
And what he did instead was just paint.
Oh, well, that's not.
He was literally down there spraying paint.
Oh, no.
As I'm coming down to check out the tuck pointing job that did not get done.
Oh, no.
And so I'm like, oh, shit, because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, man, like, are you prepping to tuck point today? Like, what's happening here? And he's like, no, I've already done all the tuck pointing. And I was like, no, there's more. And he's like, I'm done. I'm going to paint and I'll be out of here today. And I was like, I think we're going to have a problem, but I'm going to wait and see. So I'm walking down I walk back upstairs and I'm like, hey guys, I do see one potential issue that doesn't look like the tuck pointing was done. And stepdad loses his fucking marbles, traipsing down the stairs. And he's like, what is going on down here? They get into it again.
Oh my god.
Because he's like, don't you know what tuck pointing looks like?
This guy's like attacking the seller essentially? Holy crap. Get out of here, dude.
I'm like, ugh, I can't. So I'm looking at it. I was like, hey, name. I'm not going to use his name. Name. Hey, can we talk outside? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And he goes outside and I'm looking at the seller and I was like, I apologize, but the tuck pointing isn't done and it's going to be a problem. Ew. So I'm going to go talk to him and mom and daughter and I'll come back. We'll figure this out. Right. So he's like, that guy's not even on the contract. Why is he telling me what to do? And he's getting pissed at me. And I was like, listen, man, I hear you. I know you're frustrated. I know you're ready to be done with this house. I get it. It's been on the market for 9 months. Oof. Like under contract 3 times. I get it. You're over it. You're ready to get the F out. Right. I totally understand. But you agreed to do these repairs and they aren't done. So this is going to cause a problem. He's like, I'll take care of it. Take pictures. Tell me exactly. Walk me through. I was like, great. Let me go get these guys settled. I'll come back down. We'll walk through. Okay. So I go upstairs. They're still pissed. They're fucking trying to fix a sink in a bathroom that didn't have a problem.
Okay. Oh my gosh. These people are a handful, man.
I take the pictures. We come to an agreement. We're going to push closing back from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. We're going to be okay. I'm going to stop by right before closing. I would like for one of you to come with me. I just got a text message.
Oh no.
They're all up in arms about that door lock. Said she woke up going, don't buy this house. Don't buy this house, because she is disgusted by the way the guy has done the repairs. I'm not telling this to freak you out, just, I guess, to prepare you.
Man, they have a gigantic case of buyer's remorse before they're even buyers.
And the woman who's going to live there has no issues. She's like, hey, if he gets those areas that we looked at tuck pointed, I'm good. I'm like, okay, great. Mom and stepdad are losing their ever-loving minds.
Jeez.
They live in a $2 million house, okay?
Yeah. And that's not what the daughter's buying. So get off your high horse, mommy and daddy.
Good Lord. So I said, hey, I've got to be there a little bit early. And I said, I don't want you guys to get sued, though. We need to talk about it.
True story.
It's day of closing, and they spent a little over $11,000 on all the repairs that we requested.
Yeah. And your main issue is like a 15-cent strike plate.
Exactly. So here's what she says. She goes, I don't know. It's all very dramatic. Yeah, he needs to do the tuck pointing. That's just the deal. But she's just having a bit of a freak out.
Ah, that's fine. Let her freak out. Buyer's remorse is real. I'll see you guys at closing.
So here's how I'm handling this right now, because this is all in real time.
Yeah.
I am very frustrated. This is my 57 houses.
That's a lot. That's too many. That's too many. Make a choice and stick with it.
57 houses, 3 months. Took a long time to get here.
Yeah.
Everybody's been very happy with the house. You don't like the work the guy's doing. I get it. I understand.
Right.
You do not get to dictate how materials are used or what they use to do it. All you can say is, I want the walls repainted. If you're being particular, you can say, I want the walls repainted with Sherwin-Williams, in satin.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? But you do not get to dictate all the pieces and parts. And when you ask a seller to make repairs, they're going to do it the cheapest fucking way possible.
Absolutely.
They just are.
Yeah.
Most people are that way. You're leaving. You're not going to benefit from any of this. You know what I mean? You're checking a box, basically. Now, do we want them to do it with workmanlike quality, professional people, licensed and insured? Yes. Can we guarantee that? No.
No.
Here we are, friends.
Yeah.
Buy the fucking house.
Jeez.
Great house.
That could lead us to a totally different story time, Jana.
We should just do it. Let's just roll with it. I'm in a roll with it kind of mood today.
How do we compartmentalize? So I had a in real time situation this week as well, with a deal completely falling apart. And me and my husband are in therapy, and I'm in personal therapy, and then we're in couples therapy, because I don't think you can be therapized enough. Therapeuted? I don't know. I don't think you can do it enough. So
there are a lot of things you can't get enough of. You know what I'm just saying?
Can't get enough. All right. So this deal is falling down around me, right? Like just boom, boom, boom. Then I'm
a very visual person, and that works for me.
Right.
Like that. Boom, boom.
And then I get a text saying, buyer is currently freaking out right now. It might take her a second to sign, from her husband. And I'm like, I don't know how to handle this, because my whole job is to prop up our buyers and sellers and other agents and title and lending. We're here to prop up their emotions, right? Mm-hmm. We're here to be the emotional liaison through all of these people. And the truth of the matter is, my therapist had a really cool way of saying this. She's like, okay, so you're good at that. You've had enough reps. Absolutely. I have had enough reps in propping up people's emotions, being the emotional stronghold. I used to come with a lot of emotions in deals, and it would freak out buyers and sellers. That doesn't work. We have to be the logical ones, the ones to say things like, buyer's remorse is real. I understand you guys are freaking out. I'll see you at closing, and not be the emotional disaster that we really want to be. Because right now, you want to be emotional disaster. Yesterday, when I was walking into therapy, I wanted to be an emotional disaster. Well, I was, but not to them. So I then have to stop my entire workday, right? My entire workday, and walk into therapy and now compartmentalize the day that I just had. Or I'm in the middle of I can't do 1 o'clock in the afternoon anymore. This is the dumbest thing I ever decided to do. We have changed it. So the interesting thing is, my husband, Kenny, he asked me one question, and it was the simplest question in the world. Girl, he may as well have asked me the most difficult, emotionally draining, convoluted, complicated question in the world, because I lost my ever-loving mind on this man in the middle of the waiting room, waiting for the therapist to come in, right? I'm like, you're gonna, so then she comes and gets us, and we sit down, and she's like, how's it going? And he's always quiet. And I go, just tell her how it's going. We got into a huge fight because you asked me a stupid fucking question, and then I freaked out because I don't know how to control my emotions right now, because I have to control everybody's emotions. And she was like, okay, so I haven't seen this side of you yet, so this is new. And I was like, yeah, so I'm freaking out right now. And I told her what happened. And in the midst of all of that, what I'm thinking to myself is, we really have a hard job as real estate agents, because we truly, with our whole hearts, do not have an option but to maintain emotional stability throughout an emotional process. And if you then have an emotional, did you get that? That plucks you out and puts you somewhere else. Now I'm reeling from this emotion and now I have to be turned into this emotion. That causes a lot of problems. So
a little bit like PTSD, I'm just going to say.
A little bit like PTSD, especially when you have a history with your significant other or business partner or whatever that other partner looks like. If you have a history of, when I say this, they say this, so you're just ready for that emotional instability or that emotional reflect, like they're not going to take it. It's hard to put it out there in a healthy way. So I don't know how to put it out there in a healthy way. Poor guy. And then the poor man, he's in therapy and he's like, listen, I used to not ask questions. And then she said, I need you to start asking questions. And now I ask questions and they are the wrong questions. And I'm over here, I'm like, I know. I'm over here, I'm like, yeah, now I feel guilty. Obviously, because he's giving me what I said I needed, and now that's not working. And she said, which was amazing, she's like, listen, through this process of relearning how to be one with each other emotionally, you are going to think that you need something, and then it's going to change throughout time. And I was like, girl, I do not need his dumb ass questions. To him, they're not dumb ass questions. He's trying to engage. To me, I'm like, I want to literally wring his neck. But on the turn of it, I have to also say, man, look at the effort that he's putting in. It's great. His questions don't work for me, but it's great effort. So
it's better than not.
It's better than not, Cast. And you're dealing from text messages from a potential, $6,000 loss on your side, time invested, energy, emotion, effort, like all of these things are potentially now falling apart. And it's like, man, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
It's not just that. It's just, I think the thing that, I think about this a lot because it's the whole process of being engaged in buying or selling a home, wherever you are in that spectrum, whatever role you're playing, there's a psychological aspect of it that most people just aren't prepared for.
Right.
We know it's coming. So we try really hard to make sure we've shared all the information. We've got all the different options we can take. We're giving information because we're doing it early because we don't want them to get there and be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Well, I've already gave you the tools. Let's revisit them. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm,
right. My God, it's so frustrating.
So we're here and I'm like, okay, I get to have that conversation. I get to have the conversation about, here's what happens if you back out as a buyer on the day of closing and your loan hasn't been denied, you didn't lose your job, you haven't died. What happens if you just don't want to do it?
Yeah.
You're going to get sued.
There's a likelihood that could potentially.
The high likelihood.
Especially if the seller has spent that much money on repairs. Like that's a significant amount of money.
It is a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
I told my husband this, who he's been licensed a little over a year. And he's like, it's just, he's like, well, how do you manage that? And I'm like, there's no managing it. You know, it's coming. You develop tools to get yourself out of it faster.
Yeah.
And a lot of times for a lot of people, and I think this is true about therapy in general, but just talking about it helps you dump the baggage, hopefully not on the other person, but get rid of it. And then that way you can deal with it,
Absolutely. So should we move on to topic of the day since we just spent a shit ton of time on those couple story times?
Probably. Topic of the day. Topic
of the day. It's topic of the day time. Sorry, too far? Did I go too far? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, please go ahead.
Look, it's happening. It's happening. The blood pressures are rising.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Topic of the day today, we are going to answer some listener questions. And the first one is, can I successfully buy a house from a tax auction?
Yes.
I have not personally done that. So, Moxie?
Yeah. Okay, so the quick answer is yes. Oh, you want more? Okay.
A little bit. Smidge.
Yes, you can. So there are some parameters though. So I went to a tax auction in KCK. It was very interesting, very enlightening. The interesting thing about tax auctions is you can't usually go inside the house prior to purchasing. A lot of people go across the street to the records department and see whether there's any liens, any title discrepancies, any issues associated with it, because you're not doing a full title search. You're just doing that title search. So it's not like a professional one. Most people are probably sufficient enough that they can make that happen. But here's the thing that people forget about. The tax lienee is this guy. We have the tax liener, city, and then we have the buyer.
The wiener? We have the tax wiener?
The taxer. I don't know. City, and then we have the buyer right over here. Okay, so we have 3 parties involved. Buyer buys the house from the city. Taxee still is over here. If within a certain amount of time, taxee says, I want to pay my balance, there is a chance that they could pay their balance and go all the way over here and take that house back. I don't know what that takes, but that's a real thing. But here's the part that's interesting that also a lot of people don't know. If you buy a house from a tax auction, majority of companies will not give you title insurance for at least 10 years. There are 2, Clear Title and Meridian Title are the 2 that I know that will actually do a full-on case. They will make it a public case, so they are putting it in newspapers. They're making sure nobody else is coming back on it. And after, I think it's like 3 months, then they will issue full title insurance with great confidence at that point. But that costs some money. So in my career, I've had several people from out of state say, hey, I bought this house and I want to sell it. And then I'm like, well, we have to go through a specific title company and it's going to cost you X amount of dollars to get this cleared. And a lot of them just are like, never mind, I'll just hold it. So a lot of people don't understand that through tax auctions, there's a gigantic implication on the title, because who knows when Billy Bob's going to come back. Sorry, Billy Bob, you didn't pay your taxes. I'm not trying to, I don't know.
Billy Bob has lots of fucking problems.
I don't know a lot
in his life.
I don't know a lot of Billy Bobs, but if I just offended a Billy Bob listening, sorry. If you didn't pay it and then you come back in time, it's just a huge, huge implication potentially. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people buy them and hold them for 10 or 15 years and they're totally fine. But you also have no idea what you're buying. What if you think you're buying a house and instead you're buying a shack? I mean,
right.
It's crazy. So yes, you can successfully buy from a tax auction, but I would be buyer beware. Buyer beware.
That's a thing.
True story. Yep. I like this next question. So this next question is, should I still do a home inspection on a newly built home? Jan Banan, do you want to take that one? Because I have a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say yes. I follow a couple of inspectors on TikTok, and so they frequently post videos of their inspections on new construction homes, and there are so very many problems. I would highly recommend getting an inspection on a newly constructed home regardless, but it sounds like you have a story to go along with this. So
I do.
Do tell.
Okay, so I had helped a buyer and seller. I had helped them sell their house, buy a house, sell their house, buy a house. So we were at the end of the road on potentially their final purchase, maybe for a while. It was a new build construction. It was in Lee Summit. Stunning home. Stunner. And they were like, do we do a home inspection? And I was like, I always think it's smart. So they did one, and everything came back mostly normal. There were a couple things that needed to be done, but one was gargantuan. So the roof, this thing?
Mm-hmm. That thing.
Do you know how important this thing is?
It's kind of important, yeah.
Pretty important. Do you know what holds up this thing?
Oh, those lovely trusses.
Whenever you don't have one of those lovely trusses, what happens? Like if it's like not connected, what starts to happen? Okay, so we're in the midst of this deal with this rather expensive brand new build in Lee Summit. And the inspector comes down and he goes, we have a little slight problem. And I was like, oh God. He said one of the trusses, or maybe 2 of the trusses, are not fully attached on the bottom side to the home. And I was like, red alert, red alert. I was like, okay, what?
You're like, hold up. May not be attached?
Yeah.
Or are not attached, please. I'm going to need some clarity.
Them bitches were not attached, okay, Pumpkin? Not attached. So we go back to the seller, obviously, and a builder, and we're like, hey, there's a problem. And, you know, it's a new build. Of course, they're going to fix it. It wasn't a big deal to have it fixed. They just had to sister them up, and they made it better. But that leads us into that wonderful question. Should I have an inspection on a new build home? Absolutely, especially if you were buying a home during like a significant boom in builds. Everybody's just throwing houses up in a real quick way, and nobody's really overlooking and watching all of the things that these contractors are doing. So could you imagine if they had bought that home and then a couple of years later, they're like, hey, Moxie, so my roof is sliding down my house. Like, I know it wouldn't necessarily be that dramatic, but imagine if it was. Whoopsie.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that stuff takes a while to happen, usually. I mean, unless it's real, real bad. But your builder's warranty only lasts a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
All right. Next question. If I'm paying $1,800 a month in rent, can I even afford to buy a house? Yes.
Yes. Question mark?
It's... Yes. $1,800 a month in rent, though, right now is probably going to put you, just based on like today and clients that are getting pre-approved, $1,800 a month is like $250,000 right now. Is that what you're feeling?
I was a little lower than you, but yeah, probably. Yeah. I would say anywhere from 200 to 250. Yeah.
Yep. So $1,800 a month right now. Yes, you can buy a house and you'll be somewhere between 200 and 250 more than likely. And it largely depends on what county you're in.
Very true.
Because Jackson County, Missouri, is the most expensive county in the entire metro area.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can you believe that shit?
That's crazy.
I'm like, whenever I tell people that, they're like, more than Johnson County?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But just wait, there's more.
Oh.
Jackson County is the most expensive. The second most expensive is Wyandotte County, Kansas.
Yeah, I don't understand
Wyandotte County.
The dot? I don't understand it.
Then Johnson County.
Then Johnson County. Oh, man.
Yeah. Then Cass and Clay and blah, blah, blah.
I wonder where Johnson County, Missouri lands on that list.
I mean, you told me you had 10 acres, a giant house, and you're paying, what, $600 a year in taxes?
Yeah, it just went from $585 to like $615. So, wah, wah, wah. They really increased us.
I want to sell my Johnson County house. I'm currently paying almost $6,000 a year in taxes.
Ugh. That makes me sick. So really, to think about it though, Jana, when we were at 585 and we were thinking about moving to Jackson County, we would go from 585 a year to about 500 a month in order to move one county over. Now, albeit I do have to drive a very long time. The nearest Starbucks, I think, is 35 minutes. We do have...
Oh, shit.
True story.
But wait. We know how much you love a good Chick-fil-A. So how far away is Chick-fil-A from your house?
Chick-fil-A is a drive. Yeah, it's like 40, I think it's like 45, 46 minutes from my house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Downtown is a solid 54 almost no matter where I go. So yeah, it's just the life I lead, I guess. I don't know. I don't mind it, but poor Black Betty. Oh, Black Betty. She gets a lot of miles. She gets...
Is that the name of your car?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I have a black Tiguan, and I used to have an orange Tiguan, and her name was Olita, okay? Olita, hola, ¿cómo estás, Olita? Oh, mi amor, Olita, oh, mi amor. And the reason her name was Olita is because she was habanero orange, and I was like, I have to have something Hispanic to go with that habanero. So I was like, hola, Alita, ¿cómo estás, señorita? Oh, mi amor. I used to love that car because it was so obnoxiously orange. And now I got old Black Betty. Ooh, Black Betty. Bam, bam. Yeah, so there's my cars for you.
I needed that so much. You have no idea.
And because I don't want to seem like a jerk, I can't just say Black Betty. I have to say Black Betty Bam-a-lam. Ooh, Black Betty Bam-a-lam. Yeah, you got to go full board. Like, you can't half-ass this shit. Oh, I do miss
I really
Olita.
needed a good laugh.
I do miss Olita, though. And Olita used to have quite the personality on my Facebook. She would get in all my live videos, and I'd be like, ooh, there's Olita right behind me, okay? Yeah, like she had the full board personality. I loved her. I miss her. She was my homegirl.
She was a sexy bitch.
She was. Oh, she was so obnoxious. I loved it. People were like, God, that card. I was be like, I know. Yeah. When I drove her home, Kenny goes, was that the only color they had? No.
Okay. So you remember, FJ Cruisers, right?
Yeah.
Like, my husband is 6'6". Okay.
Big dude.
He's so tall.
Yeah.
He's a big dude. 6'6". He drives the smallest fucking cars. Smallest. He drives a Lexus RC F350.
Oh.
F-Sport, RC 350.
An F-Sport?
F-Sport,
Oh,
whatever.
my God.
It's a 2-door car.
Yeah.
He's had it for a while. This is not a new purchase, okay? But he's had it for a hot minute. But before that, he drove a red coupe. Like, he just always drives these tiny-ass cars. FJ Cruiser came out. I don't remember when that was. Like, early 2000s?
Yeah, I would say so.
Mid 205, whatever.
Yeah.
2005, something like that. They first came out with these FJ Cruisers, and my husband's like, I want one of those so bad. And I was like, why? He goes, because I want the orange one.
Yes.
Or the bright yellow. That
Yes.
real bright. This is like the first vehicle
I knew I loved Bryant. I knew I loved
that came
Bryant.
out. It's that first vehicle that came out with like god awful colors.
Yeah.
Right? That they're just like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted one so bad. So he gets into this FJ Cruiser, right? We're at the dealership. He sits in this and it's his head, not even joking, like mashed up against the thing. The windshield is like a Jeep. It's like this tall.
Yeah. Oh, man.
There's a whole lot of dash in front of you, and then there's like this much windshield.
Yeah.
And then his head's like, he's like, well, I guess the FJ Cruisers are out. Womp, womp, womp.
Man. So a little coupe is what he gets because he's so tall.
And I will say this, that chair, the driver's side chair, it's like a racing seat also. So it's got like the sides. My ass is too big for that chair. Okay. My thighs, it's not comfortable. It also, you feel like you're sitting in a bucket.
Right.
Like you're tipped back and I don't like it. I drive a pickup truck. Okay. I drive a Denali Chevy big ass pickup truck. I like being up here. I don't want to be in a bucket.
Right.
That's what anyway.
Yeah, fair
Long
enough.
story short.
Fair enough.
Cars. And he called his red coupe Rojo.
Oh, nice.
Actually, he didn't call it Rojo. Kai called it Rojo as a baby because he was learning Spanish.
Espanol. Rojo.
From Dora.
Nice.
From Dora.
Oh, Dora.
They got into a car accident and he would come to me and he'd go, Mama, Rojo go boom.
Oh.
Rojo go boom.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So we lost Rojo.
Did they ever say it like Rojo? Or no, they're just Rojo?
No.
Rojo? Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
He was like 3 or 4 at the time.
So we're not
Rojo go boom?
We're not rolling our R's at this point in 3 or 4?
No,
Rojo.
there's no rolling.
All right.
Oh, my God. Okay. So we got an off-the-wall last question.
Okay.
A little different than the questions we've typically been answering.
Yeah.
What is your favorite cocktail?
Is a shot considered a cocktail?
Well, can we go back to the apple crisp moonshine and Crown Royal situation?
Apple pie moonshine. Homemade apple pie moonshine and Crown Royal. If you ever want to try it, just rethink your life. But it was so delicious.
Question your life choices at that point.
Immediately. And consider checking into a freaking resort where they don't let you have booze.
Oh, Jesus.
No, that was good.
That would be awful.
But that's not my favorite. I have a favorite.
Okay.
Is a shot a cocktail, though? I have to have that answer.
Sure. Whatever drink. What's your favorite drink?
It's a Vegas bomb. And I did just learn, I don't know if I believe this, but I did just learn that it's a dirty Vegas bomb because I like cranberry in mine. And so it just like cuts down on the harshness of the crown.
What else is in it?
So it's Crown, peach schnapps, and Red Bull or energy drink of some sort. And then I add cranberry. Now, I have heard other people put like amaretto or other than the peach schnapps. I think the basics is peach schnapps, Crown, and Red Bull. And then I've always had it served with cranberry. It's my favorite.
A splash of cranberry.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite. Yeah, I love
Interesting.
it. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I'm such a snob.
Oh gosh, what is it?
My favorite cocktail is a vodka soda with lemon and lime, and preferably Belvedere vodka.
Oh, I don't think that makes you a snob.
Have you ever bought Belvedere vodka before?
Vodka is not my friend, so no.
It's not cheap.
No. Well, that doesn't make you a snob. That makes you
so smooth.
That makes you have good taste. There's a difference. There's a difference.
You're like, you've been smoking 20 cigarettes a day. Listen, there's a difference.
There's a difference between a snob and good taste. So
We're losing our shit today.
I don't even care.
Oh,
this has gone off the rails.
Best possible.
Listen, this went off the rails fucking 20 minutes ago as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not mad about it either. I needed a good laugh. Your face is turning red.
It's because it's hot as shit in here. I ain't even about to lie to you. Okay, wait. I also did think about an actual cocktail that is my favorite. And it is what is it called? It's an Americano, but it's not the coffee-based Americano. It is a Campari Americano.
What is that?
Campari is a red liqueur that's from Italy, and most people that drink Campari are drinking it in a totally different drink. I drink it in an Americano. So I'm a big fan of Americano.
Never heard of it. Any of these.
Most people have you heard of a Negroni?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was in New York and I stole a guy's drink while he was in the bathroom and I drank it. And
Feigning that one wouldn't be spiked.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Because not only did I steal his drink, but I stole his charger and we ran out. But it was a Negroni and I fell in love. And I came back to Kansas City and it was really hard to find because there's not a lot of Italian places here, so I really could only find
anymore.
Right. So I could only find it at Italian places. Well, then we went to the Monarch. We went to the back room of the Monarch. If you've never been, go. It's creepy as hell, cool as shit. We had this amazing cocktail maker, whatever they're called, and he was
mixologist.
Thank you, amazing mixologist. And he goes, I tried a Negroni. It was $65. It was delicious. And I said, I just want something a little different. And he goes, but you like Campari? And I said, yeah. And he brought me this drink and it was heaven. Now it tastes like shit. It is probably the most bitter drink that I've ever had in my life, but I like bitter drinks. So anybody that's tried it around me, for the majority of the time, they're like, oh my God, that's the worst drink. But I love me an Americano, man. If they're made the right way, they are amazing.
I feel like that says that you like to torture yourself. You're like a masochist, kind of, to yourself.
If it is assaulting my tongue, I am a gigantic fan of it. So that's why I like the Americano, because it literally assaults my tongue. And I'm a big fan. I'm here for it. But there's not a good way to say that without sounding A, like an asshole, and B, like a fucking freak, which I guess I am. I don't know.
Well, I think assaulting your tongue.
Right. But that also sounds really bad. That also sounds really freaking bad.
I can't.
It's true, but that's like, I like things that just wake up all of my senses. And an Americano wakes up all of my senses.
I'm in a full body jiggle. Laughing this time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Sorry. All right. Well, those were great questions of the day. And by the way, listeners, thank you for them. Keep them coming. We love them. We encourage them. There is no dumb question. I almost just said there is no dumb answer. Like, for real?
There might be, though.
There might be dumb answers. I'm not sure, but there are no dumb questions. So keep them coming. Send them in. We love them. We're always interested in them. If you want to get personal, because we're here for the real tea. Okay. Oh,
Exactly.
for real. Okay. So off the record. All right. So I have two oldest cousins, Janessa and Jessica. Jessica's the oldest. Janessa's the youngest. They're the only siblings, direct siblings in that family. And Janessa was struggling with drugs for the majority of her adult life. Jessica was too. They both really were pretty heavy into drugs. Jessica had been sober, I think, for like 36 months or something at this point. And Janessa had gotten sober and then got with this guy and gotten unsober and then got sober. And I don't really know where she was in that. It wasn't my business to know. But we didn't have a great relationship just because drugs are not my thing. But also in the midst of that, she was with this guy and domestic abuse was for real. I mean, for real. He had like fired a gun in the car with her. He had beat the living daylights out of her a few times. I think he had gone to jail for beating her.
What?
Yeah, it was bad. And unfortunately, with domestic violence, as some of us know, it's very hard to get out of that situation. Maybe not actually get out of it physically, but maybe the emotional part, it's just the draw of it can sometimes just be too much. It's abuse for a reason, domestic abuse. So they both lived with my aunt and multiple of their children lived there as well. So this day, my aunt was home, two of my younger second cousins, so their children, my two cousins, and then one of my oldest cousins' significant others, they were all home. And Janessa had her ex. She had just broken up with him and she had him come over. And Jessica, the sister, was not having it. So the report from people there, as of now, was that Jessica met him on the driveway with a baseball bat and an oar, and he shot and killed her. And then Janessa comes out, his ex-significant other, comes out of the house to see what's going on, and he shoots her 5 times, and she drops down in the house and dies. Her son that was there shoots him.
Oh, my God.
Her son that was there shoots him from inside the home and hits him. I've heard 2 different things. I've heard in the arm and in the back, and I've heard just in the arm. So he runs off, throws the gun, knocks on a neighbor's door and asks for help. Obviously, at this point, 911 has been called. It's right by a high school, so school's been shut, literally on lockdown. So both of my cousins died. The son that shot the original shooter did get detained, but he got let go. And then the shooter has now since lost his arm, so I heard. I would not be sad if that was true. So, yeah, it was quite a deal. And me and Kenny were walking into a funeral when my mom called me with this news. And I was like, we're already like, okay, let's go.
I know when I came and sat down and then we went up to do the procession, Robin actually said to me, I was like, how are you doing? She's like, I'm good. Moxie is not.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what she was talking about. And I was like, okay. And then she kept walking. You walked by. And then Kenny was like, come on out.
Yeah.
Come on out. I was like, what are you signing me up for? What's happening? And he's like, she needs to talk to somebody here.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
It was a lot. I mean,
That's
in general,
nuts.
it's a lot. But then add on, like, you're in the midst of a funeral trying to be there for a friend. And like, this gets dumped on 3 minutes before you walk in the door. So that was horrific. I felt very bad that I felt like I wasn't there for the person's funeral I was meant to be there for. I felt like I was just somewhere else. But anyway, so we left the funeral. Hard not to be. We were supposed to leave the very next day for Vegas, and we hadn't packed yet because we were just going to go home right after the funeral, pack, get ready. I had an open house the next morning with my team, and then I was going to leave directly from the open house and go to Vegas. So we didn't do any of that. We left straight from the funeral and went directly to my aunt's house. Unfortunately, it took the coroner multiple hours to get there. So my cousin was just on the driveway. Obviously,
oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
Like they had her covered and stuff, but like, there she is. And the other one was in the house, so we couldn't obviously see her. But when we were there, they were searching for the gun. and they had their search dogs out. And I was only there for probably about 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden I hear, good girl, good girl, good girl. And a dog barking and going ballistic. So we were like, okay, that must be the gun. And it ended up being the gun, which was great. Great news that they found that. And then we just hung out as a family. You know, we had to console my aunt and all of their children. And there's 6 kids that are in their early 20s, late teens. One of them just got his driver's license today. So yeah, it's been crazy. So I went to a double funeral this week and I can't say that I ever thought I would say that. I'm not going to lie. I walked in and there were 2 caskets and I was like, this is the most surreal thing in the world. It was, I mean, you already are walking in with 1 casket. That's typically more difficult than most people can handle. Well, now we got 2. So it was pretty crazy. It was very surreal. So yeah, I buried my first 2 cousins that I've ever lost in my life. First, you know, closest people aside from my grandparents that have passed away. Yeah. So it was crazy. And we'll just see how it all plays out. I don't know how it'll all play out. But here we are. Double funerals. I guess I don't ever want to go to another one of those. That was not okay.
No kidding. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
And then you went to Vegas, and then you're trying to have fun while all of this is going on.
Yeah.
Trying.
We went to Vegas the next day. We had a blast with Ryan and Nettie and their baby Sophia. We got to enjoy them so much. Vegas was awesome. The Super Bowl party that we went to was great. We did not go to the Super Bowl because we're not that stupid. And then we go to the parade. And Kenny, after the parade was over, like we almost got trampled. It was horrific. After the parade was over, Kenny was like, can we be done with gunfire for a little while? And I was like,
fuck, no kidding.
Please, can we be done with gunfire?
Please.
Yeah. It was an emotional 6 days, without a doubt. It was an emotional 6 days of just turmoil and confusion and a lot of things happening all at once. So it's been a lot. I'm not going to lie to you, Jana. I'm not going to lie. Currently, every time I hear an ambulance, my stomach still drops. So I'm working through that. And I watched a video of my therapist that was actually there as well. And he put a video out of how to prevent PTSD in a situation like that. And it was crazy to me how important it was to hear that, because I keep getting these knee-jerk reactions, like just yesterday, ambulances. And I was like, oh, because when you're in the midst of it like that, like, it was a lot.
That fight or flight.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, it was a crazy 6 days. I don't want those 6 days ever again if I can help it.
No way.
So there's my off the record for the day.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You poor thing. God, that's a lot.
Quite a bit.
Scary. Well, how have you been since all of that?
I don't know. Bye.
Just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
I feel you. Well, I mean, not obviously. Yeah.
No, I get you.
So my off the record is still work related because that's all I feel like I do lately, which is fine. It's totally fine. I love my job. I love what I do. Sometimes I don't love the people, but it works itself out in the end. Mm-hmm. But I have a client right now. They're first time home buyers. And we went and looked at this property in Raymore that was in their price point. And, they kind of have some specific needs, space being one of them. So we go and look at this property. There's a for sale by owner, which it always makes me giggle whenever I pull into a neighborhood, right? And I see a real estate agent sign, for sale sign in a yard. And then there's inevitably a neighbor on either side or across or something that has a for sale by owner. They're like, I'm going to take advantage of this marketing that's already happening.
Right.
People coming to the neighborhood. And right. So I pull into the neighborhood. I see this for sale by owner sign right next to the house that we're going to go see. And I giggle a little because I'm like, oh, great. This is going to be fun. We go in, we look at that house that was awful. They're like, we really want to look at the for sale by owner next door. I'm like, okay. Let me reach out to the owner. I'll talk to him, see if he's willing to work with an agent. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. It took over the course of 3 days. I sent text messages. I left voicemails. I found the man's email address. I sent emails. Will not respond to me at all. Not at all. And I'm like, okay. So I tell my client, I was like, hey, I can't get him to respond to me. So maybe if you reach out to him, maybe then he'll start talking.
Sure.
So let's try that. So they reach out to him. Sure as shit, right away. Responding over text message. Just nonstop. And so my client's screenshotting and sending me these text messages. So I said, if it's okay with you, I'm going to send him a text message, go, I'm so glad that you and my client connected. I have questions. Can you talk to me now? You know, like, so I send him this text message, right? My client's like, yes, please. We want to use an agent. We want to use you. I was like, okay. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, sir, it sounds like you're talking to my client, and I'm so glad you guys were able to connect. I've been trying to reach out to you for a few days now. Are you unwilling to work with an agent? Because that's the vibe I'm getting, and I'm just want to make sure.
Yeah.
You know? He goes, no, he responds right away. He was like, they're sweet kids. No, I'm not opposed to working with an agent. Great. They want to see the house. Can I give you a call? He's like, no, you can just text me. Okay. Are you willing to pay a buyer's agent? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, you can add your commission to the top of the sales price. I was like, fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You know, as long as we know how this is going in, eyes wide open, right? So I tell my clients, I'm like, hey, this is what he has a house listed at. My commission for working with a FSBO is X. It's actually 4%. So that's what I charge. He's basically saying that he wants that added to the top. Are you comfortable with that? This is what that number would look like.
Yeah.
And then he'll pay the commission. So they're like, yeah, absolutely. No problem. So I'm like, sweet. All right, great. So we set up the showing. I get there. My client's running late. I'm standing there with the seller for a good 20 minutes. And this man spent 20 minutes telling me how to do my job.
Oh, great. Perfect. Love that.
He was licensed 35 years ago.
Oh, poor guy. Poor cute man.
Has 280 properties in his portfolio, which is a lot. I mean, so it's not that he's not experienced, but he's belittling me, right? He's trying to anyway.
Right.
And he's like, I've done your job before. I rarely ever need an agent involved. I always sell direct to the buyer. I was like, okay, what if they don't want to work directly with you? He was like, well, then we end up like this, and I have to deal with people like you. Oh. And I was like, well, hopefully we're going to be best friends by the end of this.
Boy, Heidi.
And he's like, doubt it.
Oh my gosh.
He literally said, he goes, doubt it.
Oh my gosh. What a peach.
I'm like, good God. So I kind of realized, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to break down this guy's barriers. I'm going to be so fucking unoffended and nice that he's going to have no choice but to be pleasant with me. And sure as shit, by the time my client got there, he's given me his phone number. He's like, we should have lunch sometime. Not even joking. We should have lunch sometime. Let's chit chat. I'm interested in your strategies and how you flip properties, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Here's my Calendly link.
Tables have turned, son of a bitch.
I was like, here's my Calendly link. Schedule a meeting. I would love to. And he's like, okay. I was like, that's just the fastest. I mean, you can obviously text me and we'll figure it out, but I'm definitely interested. I don't know if I just offended him or what, but ever since then, he has been like jackass. My clients want a home warranty. They want a seller paid home warranty. He's like, you and I both know you're going to make a buttload of money off that home warranty. And they're not worth shit. And I was like,
what? We make $0 off of home warranties. What?
I was like, first of all, I don't make any money off of a home warranty.
Never even heard of
Zero.
that. I've never even heard someone say that. Is that a thing? I want to make money off of the home warranties.
There is one company in town, depending on the brokerage that you work with, that will pay the brokerage $75 every time a home warranty is sold. Oh. And they can pay the agent or they can keep it. But there's only one.
Whoop-de-doo. 75.
No one else fucking does that.
75 whole dollars. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Anyways, okay, continue, please. Sorry.
But we don't use them. We don't use them. We don't, whatever. There's other things there. So we don't use them. So I don't make any money off of a home warranty. I never have, never will.
No.
Why would I? Whatever. Number 2. A home warranty is helpful for a first-time homeowner. Or a second-time homeowner, or a third-time homeowner.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not buying them for all 287 fucking properties you have in your portfolio. That's your prerogative.
Yeah.
You probably have the funds to deal with.
Yeah,
most first-time home buyers don't.
Or you regret not doing that. Just this week, I've had a hot water heater replaced and a dryer replaced off of home warranties off of my rental properties. To me, that's worth it. And I didn't have to touch it. I didn't have to call anybody. To me, it's totally worth it. So he's an idiot.
Yeah.
In the most polite way possible,
Total
sir.
moron.
You're a dum-dum.
So I'm trying to be nice. And I'm like, well, second of all, a home warranty is very helpful for some people. Granted, may not be for you, but it is for them. But you know what? That's fine. You don't have to buy it. I'll buy it. That'll be my closing gift to them. Because first-time homeowners, I'm like, you need just at least try it for a year. If you don't want it after that, that's fine.
Right.
But anyway, so he spent this entire transaction telling me multiple times that he was licensed 35 years ago.
Got it. Noted.
He knows what he's doing.
Noted.
And I'm like, you don't have to keep telling me that. I'm not putting you down. I'm not trying to be a pain in your ass. I really am not.
Right.
I'm here to represent my client. I'm doing the best job that I can for them. And I'm trying to play nice in the sandbox so that we can get through this. I respect what you're doing. I respect that you're selling your home by yourself. It's fine. I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
Actually, none. Good for you. But this is what we're doing here. So if you don't want me involved, I don't have to be involved. These buyers are not going to buy your house. They're not.
Yeah.
They've already told me that. So if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I'm like, come on, man. Like, let's work together on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gosh. It's almost
Anyway, that's my story. So that's mine.
It's almost like he was trying to see who has the bigger dick.
Yeah, and I just don't
I don't play those
play
games.
that game.
Yeah, I'm not good at that game because my dick's
I'm
bigger.
going to kill you with kindness. Well, I'm going to kill you with kindness and let you think your dick is bigger.
Yeah.
Okay? Go forth and conquer.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
Whatever.
also sit back and be like, I know better. I know whose dick is really bigger here. Let's have a measuring contest because I'll win. I don't really have a dick. It's a metaphor, everybody.
I mean, it would be fine if you did, Moxie.
It
I'm just
would.
saying.
I was just clarifying that I don't. That's all I'm saying.
Currently unequipped.
Currently unequipped. True story. What is wrong with us today?
I don't know, but I'm here for it. I'm not mad about it. You may listen to this later and go, Whitney, trash the whole fucking thing.
No,
and
man.
I'll be like, no.
So can I tell you a funny story? I went to Starbucks right before this and I got a Starbucks. The lady comes to the window and she goes, "Here's your drink. We messed up. Here's another." I've had 2 of these things.
Right in the window.
I've had 2 of these things. I'm over here like, way too much caffeine.
You are so gonna shit yourself later.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
And you know I'm right.
I'm taking all the precautions to
Black
not...
Betty. Black
Listen,
Betty.
I'm taking all the precautions to not be doing this right now. Because that's how I feel. I hope nobody watches this episode.
Or everyone does.
Or
'cause
everyone.
This is real, folks.
Oh, it's so hot.
This is unfiltered shit.
Thanks for the mess up, Starbucks. The world thanks you. Too much caffeine.
Oh my God. I don't know if we can do anything else here. I feel like I've hit my limit for the day.
You know what? We've done enough. We'll do local news next time. Y'all want to know what's going on in Kansas City according to us? Join us next week on our next podcast because right now I need to go run around the building and get some energy out.
She needs to go find Kenny. That's what she needs. Yeah.
He's working. All right.
Surprise.
All right, Jana. This has been great. I think I've had too much caffeine. And I know emphatically that I need to pee. Because that was a lot of coffee.
That's why we're bouncing. To go pee. Gotta keep it in. Oh my God. Okay. God. Whew.
All right. Well,
Deuces, lady.
we'll see you next time. Make it a great day.